Hello everybody, Danny Music Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, I know I haven't posted in a while, but I'm back. We're back. New, fresh trim. We're completely clean. Guys, isn't music great? I mean, seriously, have you ever had a moment where you've been listening to music and you're like, you almost can't comprehend. You're like, wow, doesn't music just make you feel inspired and excited? And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm listening to this. Like, how can this exist? Well, that's exactly what I want to talk about today. And I just want to make, just a little interesting video about some of my experiences with music and moments where I've had like mind-bending listening experiences. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So this whole video idea spawned from me the other night, about a week ago. I was listening to some songs, late at night with some headphones on, just kind of exploring, really, not really listening to the songs, but just kind of exploring, the songs that I've added over the years, the last 5 or 6 years, and the songs that I've had, way before that, like when I was a child, like 6, 7, 8, 9, the formative years of my music taste. And I was just listening to those songs. And for whatever reason, that specific night, even though I had heard these songs a lot and I didn't get this feeling, that specific night when I was listening to those songs, I was like, wow, I'm remembering way more about, what kind of child I was, listening to those songs for the first time. The memories were a lot stronger this time. And I was like, wow, this is bizarre because this usually never happens. But I was listening to those songs and I was like, wow, I'm kind of enjoying this a whole lot more. And I can remember, being a child and listening to those songs for the first time. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow. Because when I was a child, I had this iPhone right here. This iPhone that I'm holding in my hand is responsible for, all of the music taste that I have today. This is probably one of the most important things in, from my childhood is this iPhone. And yes, I did have a phone when I was 6 or 7, but it did not work properly. You couldn't text people. There was no like SIM card in it. It was just, it was basically an iPod. I would just listen to music on it. That's all I could do. Maybe watch, some preloaded movies and TV shows on there that no, I listen to music on this. So this thing is extremely important. But this thing, I'll tell you right now, I was listening to some songs, and there are songs from this era of me, discovering my music taste for the first time, where I can remember me being in the loft of our house at the time when I was 6 or 7, and looking out through the window at night. It was probably like 11 o'clock, and I was looking at the stars. It was literally like the most picturesque thing you could imagine. It sounds really cheesy, but I was listening to these songs and I was looking out at the stars, and I was like, wow. A week ago when I listened to those, I was like, wow, I remember being in that moment listening to these songs. And some of those songs were like, songs by The Cure, like Judas Priest, for example. Yes, I do like Judas Priest. That's not a guilty pleasure. I like Judas Priest. I ain't afraid to mention that because heavy metal rocks, man. But I was listening to The Cure, Judas Priest, Tears for Fears, your usual suspects. And I was just listening to those songs, and I was surprised by how powerful I could remember those memories. And this is what I want to talk about, is that those memories of me being a child, listening to this late at night, looking out at the stars, being, 6 or 7, those are some of my most important memories from growing up, because those are the ones that kind of formed who I was, who I am today. And so every time I listen to those songs, I'm like, I remember being in that scenario, and I can remember those songs being super impactful even now. Does that make sense? So I just want to talk about, just my memories and listening to music growing up and some of the good memories. So this leads me to the point, is how songs are able to transport you to memories. And it's kind of amazing. And this is why I'm titling the video something like, Isn't Music Just Great? And it's because one of the things that makes music so great is the fact that it has this ability to unlock a memory, even if it's like a dormant one that for all is just stowed away in the back of your mind. But it can, you listen to a song, boom, you can remember where you were, what kind of person you were, what you were doing, that kind of stuff. And it's great. And the thing that makes music so great is the fact that that song that maybe you associate a certain memory with will never go away. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that you listen to the song, you can listen to it at 10 years old, 20, 50, 70, 90, and it's able to access a memory that is just, stowed away in the back, just way out here. And then you listen to it, you can remember it pretty instantaneously. And that's pretty cool, man. And I was listening to the Beatles and Revolver. I know I'm getting off track. This video doesn't really have a direction. I'm just kind of, I'm just talking. We're just talking, we're chilling out. But I was listening to the Beatles and the Revolver. And even though I had heard this album many times, I was listening to it, I would say, in the last month or two. And I was just listening to songs like, Tomorrow Never Knows, Good Day Sunshine, what else? Eleanor Rigby, Taxman, I'm Only Sleeping, the songs on Revolver. And I was just thinking to myself, wow, the Beatles were freaking great. And it's because they had this ability to write these songs that, looking back now, it's like, how could they have written something that good? And especially when they were in their 20s. Paul McCartney wrote Eleanor Rigby when he was 23 or 26. I'll have to double check that. But it was something in his mid-20s. And it's unfathomable to think of that a mid-20s guy wrote Eleanor Rigby. And that shows you how great the Beatles are. But you have these moments where you listen to these songs and you're just like, wow, this song is so good. How can this song exist? And that makes you think, isn't music just fantastic? It's just great. Music is one of the best things, probably the best thing that we humans have ever invented. Forget machines and technology. Music is incredible because it can be nostalgic, it can be happy, sad, angry, and it's really, really good. One last thing I want to expand on is what I mentioned earlier about how those memories of me sitting in my loft bedroom, looking out through the window at night, how important those memories are to me. Because I listen to songs and forever they'll be associated, certain songs from when the songs that I listened to at the time, even now, I will think back to that time when I was itty bitty, listening to songs, looking out at night, that kind of stuff. And those are so important to me. And they, for me, I was like, you can take any memory. Like if, let's say there's some machine that could, pull out your memories and you'll never get them back. I was like, okay, that's fine. But the ones that have to stay, that are the most important to me, are me as a child at night, listening to music, looking out at the stars. Fantastic. And this is kind of a sidetrack thing. I think this is why I like The Cure so much, because The Cure are all about stars. And this is an example. Pictures of You, or Just Like Heaven, or Lullaby, or Letter to Elise. Those songs. The memories that I have with those songs will always be me as a child looking out through the window. And those are so important to me. And it's, every time I listen to the songs, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm a little kid again. So this video really doesn't have, any sort of direction. I just want to talk about it and have a good rant about, isn't music just great, and how it can access, memories, and you can associate songs with memories, and, that kind of stuff. So anyways, guys, that's just a quick little video. I know this video doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I just wanted to talk and, ramble on, and, that's not a pun, but, Led Zeppelin. But just ramble and talk about, why music is so great. And how maybe you guys, let me know in the comments, have you guys had a moment where you've been listening to a song and you just kind of had this moment of appreciation about, like, wow, isn't music awesome? Please let me know. And what are some songs that you have such strong memories tied to? I'd love to know, because I like finding out, what songs you associate certain memories with. So please let me know. And guys, thank you very much for watching. I know this is kind of a weird setup here that I was shooting on my iPhone, but thank you very much for watching. Videos will be coming back, and I will be back, Terminator. So thank you everybody very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.